Assalamualaikum everyone, it's Naima again.
And this is Nora.
And welcome to
another episode of
Hadal Banaat. So we wanted to take this moment to first and foremost say Jazakallah khairan and thank you so much for subscribing and watching.
Yeah, honestly guys, it's been so amazing to actually see that there's been like 702 people that actually listen to us. I honestly thought that we'd get like 5 people.
Yeah, and we were excited for 5 people.
Yeah, I'm just like, if 10 people watch this, I'm good because at least somebody out there is actually listening to us. But it's been great. Thank you so much for actually listening and supporting us, and actually to 62 subscribers.
Exactly.
I took that time to click that little red button. Y'all could do it too.
We're about to buy a mansion. Alright, but we also wanted to welcome a good friend of us.
Special guest.
Yes, she is the one and only Najma.
Hey guys, this is Najma.
Hey.
Yeah, so we're excited having her on the show today. Trying to have a different voice. So I don't know if it's actually hard for them to keep track of who's talking, but
No, I think it's very easy. Like, I'm the British one, like the last time, you remember?
then I'm the one that does not try to put on a fake British accent.
And I'm the fobbish one.
Oh no, that's actually insulting real
Alright.
That's actually so
So
sad.
the topic of today's episode is
Basically based on this article that I found recently, and it was written by it was written by someone named Kate Murphy, and it was published by the New York Times, titled "Do Your Friends Actually Like You?" So the article basically talks about how friendships are probably not as mutual as you think, and that someone that you think is your friend might not really be your friend. They also say like an interesting line where it's like, oh, I like them, so they must like me, right? And another interesting line that they said is that others point to a misunderstanding of the very notion of friendship in an age where a friend is used as a verb, and social inclusion and exclusion are as easy as a swipe or a tap on a smartphone screen, which is so true, because honestly you can like misunderstand relationships that you have with people just because, oh, I have them on Snapchat and I see them every single day and I see what they're doing all the time and whatever, right? Or I don't know, like
it's even like the biggest deal if like you unfollow someone off social media.
Yeah.
It's as if you've like disconnected like a friendship that never even was there to begin with.
Yeah.
Did you see what she did?
It's also how we perceive the friendship too as well. Like I can be considering that friend close to me, but she may not see the same as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's the problem with all of us, right? And I also think that comes with age, right? As you get older, you start to understand who really suits you as a friend.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I think it was smart for them to do the study on people that are starting from the ages of 23 to 38 and to just basically see like what they think about it. So there was 84 of them that they studied, and they were told to rank their friends, their classmates in their business management class on a continuum of 5 points. So it starts from I don't know this person to one of my best friends, and only 53% of the time was where they were actually accurate in it being a reciprocal relationship. So it's actually pretty shocking. I guess a lot of people are just not really understanding who their real friends are.
Like,
do you feel like
that's a problem.
Right? But do you feel like the definition of friendship changed over time? When we were younger versus the younger generation today?
Exactly.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I think it has, because when we were younger, we didn't really have a lot of like social. Okay, we had Facebook and like MSN Messenger and stuff.
No, and you would be surprised because friendship was very important to us at the age of 18, 19, and 20. And apparently it's also good for adolescents at that age, because that's a form of relationship, and that's how they start and begin with a lot of things, right? So it's actually a good way. But when this study was conducted, it's actually pretty good because it started at a 23 and 24, and that's where you actually know your identity at that point in your life. Yeah. So you have a good idea of who your friends are, as opposed to when you're 18 and 19.
Right. The weirdest part is that only 53% of them
exactly.
are accurate.
So that's why it's so shocking that.
I don't know. I just feel like with friends though, like with social media being literally our world today, I feel like the internet like fabricates the message of like friendship, right? Like we have today like all these like musically like videos, or like these like collaboration videos with this is my best friend, this is like like my twin, this is when people getting reunited in airports or whatever, like they make friendship seem like it's something that everyone should have, without thinking to yourself that like some people actually have difficulty like actually finding true friendships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people go through bullying, people go through very hard times with this whole idea of like, oh, so and so, I feel like so and so may not be genuine, maybe talking bad about me. Like how do you, like, what would you tell like youth, for example,
and
today?
that's why there's some of them are also sorry,
no, I was just saying, like, what would you tell them, like, you know, like if youth today are finding like, you know, like are finding like friendships difficult to find today, like what would your advice be for them today, Miss Najma?
I think the thing is, we're so caught up with focusing on friendships to begin with that we're not realizing that we don't know ourselves as a person, right?
Yeah.
And I think it also suits your personality as well and what you really want, right? So sometimes in life, like there's so much, like I'm 24, right? And I know that when I was 18 and 24 right now, I'm two different people, right? And I think that when I look at my friendship and how they've changed over the years, you realize that your circle is actually getting smaller. And that's the thing, your surrounding determines your personality, right? So who you choose, it's a part of you. And I think the best advice I can give probably would be like, find someone that can actually motivate you to be a better version of yourself. And that's the thing, we're so caught up again with the idea of just being who's my friend and who can support me, when really you can't even support yourself. The thing is, I feel like my point is that you need to focus on yourself. And the thing, it's so true, because they say friends come and go, and that really is
facts.
That's facts. Friends come and go, and they say family stays forever, and it's so true, because at the end of the day, your families are always behind you at the end of the day, right? But when it comes to friends, there's a reason why there's an open door and like it's never closed, it's just open for them, because they could come into your life and you can benefit from that, you can learn something from that, and then they can walk out of your life the next day, right? But I think we should also put in mind that we shouldn't rely on that, meaning like when someone walks into your life, we have this thing where we expect something also in return, right? Just because they came into our life does not mean they can't walk away the next day, day, right? So I think it's more of an emotional entitlement where we have this thing where we feel like we're attached to friends and that we can't move on. But you're changing as a person every day, so that means your friends are also changing with you every day.
True.
Right?
Also, another thing I would say is that you don't really need to have a lot of friends. Like if you're having difficulty finding friends, like you might as well just like, I don't know, try to figure out like who is it that you already know that you feel like you have some sort of middle ground with, like you relate more to and stuff, and then see if they're like trustworthy and stuff like that, because honestly that's one of the biggest things with like friendships. I know so many people, okay, I'm not gonna say so many people, but I know people.
You just said your circles.
No, I mean, no, my circle is fine, but I mean, I know people that have weird friendships, like when you think that, oh, so-and-so is friends with so-and-so, and then so-and-so comes to you and is like, oh my god, like, you know, so-and-so said, oh my gosh, like, but I thought y'all were friends, like, what happened, right? So it's like, some people have like very like superficial friendships, and you might really think that, oh my god, they're best friends. So when you're on Instagram scrolling through and seeing people that have all these best friends and have all these amazing friends and squad rolling deep, goals, you never know, like they might not really have the best relationship with each other, right? But then there could be someone out there that just has one friend, but that friend is your sister. Like they're actually like the most, like one of the most important people in your life, right? And then it's funny that you even brought up like how when you get older you kind of stop looking for friends, because there's this other study that also talks, we'll put the articles in the description box below, guys, but there's this other article that talks about how studies show that as you grow older you stop looking for new friends. You try not to make new friends because you've already found like a ground where you're kind of comfortable in like the friendships that you've made already, right? So I feel like that's really true, because I'm 22 now and that's happened with me. So I feel like I very rarely try to find a lot of new friends. If I do find a new friend, it means like we clicked like that, and that's why like, wow, now I actually respect you, you're in my circle and stuff, right? But it's not like I'm out there actively looking like, oh my god, I need new friends and stuff.
It's also because like, if you think about it, like we have like friends when we're selective too, right? Like you can have a lot of friends, but it's also what you need in that moment. So let's say I wanted a friend to inspire me, right? You have that specific friend, and like intention, like we wouldn't know about it, but we're kind of collecting it mentally. Like, we're trying to say that, okay, if I were to call about someone that can help me with the perfect outfit, okay, I have this person on the next line. Okay, if I have the person that can help me to get an A in this course, okay, I have that person. Exactly. It's just like, we have this also tendency, and don't get me wrong, this does not define me as a person, but we also use our friend to a certain degree, to depending on our circumstances in that moment,
but that's
right?
Because they're supposed to better you, right?
Yeah, to better you. So like, let's say
not
if I'm
in a negative way.
Not in a negative way. So it's a good thing. So I feel like when you said that you feel like your circle got smaller and you feel like you have the friends that you need in your life, and because of your age, it's also because you feel like they fulfilled every path that you wanted to do in your life. So pretty much like someone that's a very creative, in that case, you have a friend that can provide you in that kind of sense. Someone that has that. So I feel like you've probably found the friends that are well-rounded, right?
Yeah.
That can support you in a way. But yeah, so that's really
also like another thing is like with like real friends, like I feel like you can't really like, for example, you can't really like just feel uncomfortable not calling up your friend, you know what I mean? Because if you feel uncomfortable calling your friend, then sorry, she might not really be your friend, because that's weird. How are you gonna feel uncomfortable? But then at the same time, I guess that's unfair for me to say, because maybe some people have friendships on different types of levels, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm
they
saying.
keep certain people like they keep themselves to themselves, basically. They're very private and stuff, and then they have friends for when they need friends, like oh, you know, I'm just trying to get advice on something or whatever, right? But then there's also friends like every single day. Like, for example, guys, Najma hits my phone up every single day. I'm not joking. She hits my phone every single day. I wake up to her calls, I sleep to her calls. I'm joking,
but we're not friends, so you have to do we're cousins too, and that's a whole different story. But I know. We didn't even know we were cousins. But honestly, that's Somali issues, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have someone that you're actually comfortable with, it's like, oh, for everything that happens, you want to tell them. You'd be like, oh my God, this happened, whatever, right?
Yeah, and just to add to Noor's point, it's so true, because I feel like I'm a person that, like, when I have something in mind, I would always call up, like let's say Noor, I'll talk to her about the issue that's going on in my life. I'll be like, yo, this is what happens. And then there are people that are also close to me, but like it's very hard for them to even talk about those kind of things, right? Because everyone's different, right? I wouldn't say that I'm an open book. However, like, when I do have an issue, you can say straight up, you can see it on my face, and I would contact the person, like, listen, you know, we need to talk about, what do you think about this, you know, and like the person can help me with that, right? But I guess everyone has a different personality, but it does not have to do anything with the relationship of the person, right?
Yeah. Sure. That's what I'm saying.
Just to want to like clear that.
Yeah, it really depends on the relationship that you have with the person, right? So you could feel like, oh, okay, you know, like what you said earlier, like you use okay, I'll use that word for now. Like, you use someone for
benefit,
like,
I'll say.
Yeah, you benefit, and that's the key thing. Like, with friends, you're supposed to feed off of each other and feed positivity off of each other. Not like, oh, okay, today I'm meeting up with Najma and I'm gonna talk about our next friend, Sarah, and then tomorrow I'm meeting up with Sarah, and then Sarah and me are gonna talk about Najma. That's very like. No, that's extremely like I don't know,
but
negative.
It brings a good point, because the thing is, the question is, how do you choose the right friends, right, in your life?
Like, no, but like, what were you saying to that?
Oh, I was just saying that, in other words, like, there's, especially now with kids, right, like teenagers, and also our people our age are struggling with finding the right people in their life, right? Because they find that some people, the negativity is actually overpowering the positive people, and that's the problem now we're dealing with. There's so many people that are bringing you down all of a sudden. Like, if you're doing something in your life, it's not like, it's not genuine no more. And I think that that's the problem we're facing in our generation, and also in our community as well.
Like,
so,
support
the social network problem, the support system is just horrible. And I think it's just the fact that there's so many people talking about, like, if you want something, they're just dragging you down to it. So it makes me think that
friends shouldn't be burdens, guys.
So it shouldn't be a burden, and we're starting to realize that's what the kids and the youth are going through right now. It's just finding the right people who are willing to support them when they need it the most.
Like, for me to answer the question, like, how to find friends, sincere friends, I'm going to reflect on, like, my, like, history in terms of with friendship. Like, I always chose the wrong type of circle, right? And I feel like from the beginning, like, I grew up in a, like, I said, but you'll get it, because like, we grew up in, like, I grew up in a masjid community. I'm sure you guys probably all, like, grew up in a very tight-knit community, and I began with friends that reminded me of Allah without even me realizing it, right? And as I grew up as a teenager, like, I started to, like, like want to experience this whole idea of how it feels to be cool. And because this whole idea, I can't imagine how it is right now, like for the kids right now, but being cool or being popular is so much more important than anything else, right? Yeah. So you forget what's really important. But wallahi, today, like the friends that I currently have around me in this time are the friends that remind me of Salah, right? The friends that remind me of like, yo, like honestly, Naima, like what you're doing right now, I don't think what you're doing is right. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any friends today that bring me down. And people who have ever brought me down, I'll never cut them off, because I hate the whole sentence of, yo, I cut that girl off because she's this, she's that. Yeah. Because this life is so short, and like subhanallah, like you never ever want to die and have someone ever remember you as someone who let go of them or cut them off because you thought that you were too good for them. Exactly. So always there's a saying by William Shakespeare. It's like, love all, hate none, and trust a few. So love all or whatever. Ooh. But like and like honestly speaking, like the ones that remind you of Allah, and I'll emphasize this a million times over, are the ones that will stay with you for like forever. Wallahi. Yeah, and like true. Those friends, for example, will also be the friends that you'll be comfortable to bring around your family, to bring around your like kids if you have them, inshallah, one day. And those are the type of people that you want around you, because you want to grow as an individual, spiritually, mentally, and everything along the lines that will like later on benefit you, so that you guys can all enter the doors of Jannah together, right? Yeah. We're not perfect, right? Perfect, yeah. Where no one is out here talking about like, I'm a holy person and I'm on like holy spiritual cloud 99. I don't know if that's, you know what I mean? Not like the other cloud. You know what I mean, right?
People that uplift each other spiritually.
Exactly, right? So that's all of Allah.
And just to add to the point of when you mentioned about cutting you off or whatever, like it's very common for our like friends, easily to say that, like, let's say they get into a commotion and they're not talking to one another, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna cut that person off my life. But you don't understand that could be also another Muslim, right? You have to also look at the bigger picture, right? We're so fast on thinking of like cutting that person out of your life, when really you don't understand. You're not giving the person benefit of the doubt. You're also not understanding their circumstances. There's always a reason for someone to act in a certain way, right? And I feel like the fact that you're cutting them off, you're not giving them that opportunity to actually to better themselves. And you need to understand that communication is number one key in every relation, whether it's a relationship with your husband or a family member or anything, or best friends or close friends or whatever you claim each other to be. Your manager. Communication is the key. So when you're not, cutting off seems like it's a trend now. Like everybody just seems like they want to jump on that and they want to just cut the person off. They're like, just to make my life easier. But I always have to say, the best advice I can also give is also try giving people the benefit of doubt. Everyone has a different circumstance in their life. What they're feeling, they may not. Again, it goes back to what Noor said about their personality. Everyone is different, right? Some people cannot express those emotions the way you articulate yourself, and some people just suppress those emotions and they just keep it to themselves, and then they just wait for you to knock on their door patiently, waiting to to help them or guide them through this problem, whatever they're facing. So I just feel like with us being so insensitive towards the idea of like about just cutting people off like they're nothing, because you have to believe that, you have to understand that you were once you were friends with that person, right? And there is a reason why you guys were close at one point in your life. So if there's something there, then I feel like you should fix it off rather than just jumping off based on your emotions. I'm just so tired of this word cut it off, or like I'm gonna cut it off, or I'm not cut you. Okay, cut it off. I forgot the word cut it off, but you know what I mean. Oh God.
I feel like people who like cut off people like lack maturity. This girl just like, still dying on the fact that she said, I'm gonna cut you.
No, I meant to say cut it off, but I said cut. Cut it. Okay,
but like I just feel like people who cut people off lack maturity. I feel like even like I've never done it before, but I know people who have done it to me, and like it hurts. Like, well,
it really does.
It does, and it makes you think like, what did I ever do to you? Like how, and then it makes things uncomfortable. Like you'll see the person in like real life, or like you'll bump into them.
Smart.
It's just like you just made this an awkward like situation. And subhanAllah, you know what I think about people who cut me off? For example, like when I die, like how will you feel? Like when you're at my janazah and you are told that like I died, like what are you going to do? Just be like, whatever. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or even not even for myself. Like even if I was to do it to somebody. Okay, let's talk about myself. Like if I was to cut someone off and then I found out that they are going through a rough time, or I found out that they died,
Well, you're still human. You're gonna be empathetic somehow.
Exactly. So why aren't we thinking about those kind of moments? Like, we're so like blinded by reality that we never think of the possibility of happening. And it's so ridiculous. Wallahi, like I'm the type of person that always think about death. Like, subhanallah, like I don't know what it is, but it motivates me to be try to be a better person. You know.
Honestly, this reminds me of something because for as long as I can remember, ever since I was a kid, anytime I had like a fight with someone in my house or like my family, you know, like my sister or whatever, my parents, anybody, like I could not have the day end without actually resolving it, and it would bother me so much. When people are like, "Oh my god, it was like, you don't need to talk about it. It's not that serious." But I'd be like, "No, but it was serious at one point. So let's talk about it." I'm like, I cannot go to sleep unless I know that it's resolved. So that's another thing that I kind of do. I know it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit lame, I guess. But like before I go to sleep, I actually think about it. I'm like, oh, okay, is there anybody out there that I've wronged somehow? Or is there anybody that has wronged me? And if there's someone that's wronged me, I'll be like, okay, you know what, it's fine, I forgive that person. And then I literally wake up the next day just feeling like fresh, like brand new. I'm like, I honestly don't hold any like animosity or anything towards people, because it's like too much energy that you're exhausting for no reason.
It's also goes back to the like, that's the same with me. Like, I feel like if I get in an argument with my sister or a friend, I overthink the situation. So I'm thinking in my head. So it's never at peace. And that's why I always like to leave in a good note with people, just because it will bother me the most. I feel like it might not affect you, but having an argument, it's going to stress me out the whole day, thinking like, oh, maybe I said something wrong. Or maybe I did this. So that's why I feel like communication from the jump was very important, just to get it out of the way, so that I can know where my fault is. And like I said, we're so common. We're very stubborn. Like, most people and most individuals are stubborn, right? And I feel like we're not so like, we're not fully aware of our mistakes, but I feel like having that kind of trait in where like you're thinking about what you did wrong is actually a good start. Because you know you're actually accepting that there's something wrong. And then there's those type of people that don't even are fully like they don't even know as if it happened. Like, you're arguing with them, and then they're like, they'll just think that, I'm right. And I'm like, huh? And then they walk away as if, like, you know, they can handle this, and then they'll never come back and apologize. Now, those people are people that tend to hold grudges, and they'll never forgive or forget the problem.
That's so true. Not apologizing comes with grudges.
Those are the dangerous ones. The ones that 2 years later, remember when you did that to me? And I'm like,
I forgive, but like I will never forget. Like, I can remember the one girl that pushed me off the swings when I was in 4th grade.
Oh shit!
I remember that, and I would be like, no, but just like as a kid, like, you know what I mean? Or like, you'll remember someone who maybe took your cookie out of your lunchbox. Like, you will remember.
Comes to food, yes. But like, when it comes to food, yes.
No, but subhanAllah, like, I remember like stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I forgive. Like, I could be right in a situation, but I'll always say sorry.
Yeah.
They call me these, like, you know, like in Somali they call me I'm sorry, right? Like, because I always say sorry, even if like you'll hit me, like, you know, through in the street, you're walking by me, sorry, and it's like, and I apologize.
I always say sorry to you, and you look
and you're like, why are you saying
sorry to me? I'm like, I don't know, it's a habit. To the point where when I didn't even do a mistake, I'll be like, sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But basically, I guess what we're saying, guys, is just to wrap it up, right?
Okay.
When you're looking for friends, make sure that you have friendships full of like positivity. It's like a relationship that you know you're going to have growth come out of, right? And that the point that Naima mentioned is that religion, honestly, if you're Muslim, honestly, Allah is key, right? In all relationships. It's very important to have friends that are going to remind you of actual good in your life, right? Like khair and stuff, and to be able to remind you to pray and to fast and like whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing into like your duties of a Muslim, right? Absolutely. So it's really good to have friends like that, and I think that alhamdulillah all of us can actually say that all of our friends are actually like that. The ones that we hold close to us are like that. So
and you have to just be patient, because you need to understand that it comes with time. Friendship is an open door, right? So as you get older, it just gets better. That's all I can say, you know. And your relationship and your support system also gets stronger and better, even.
Right.
And I guess to wrap it up for me, like, I would definitely say, if you feel like you need to get out of a situation when it comes to friendship, if you feel like people around you are not like uplifting you and honestly are bringing more bad than good, make dua, right? Like, make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides you with people that will remind you of Allah, that will make you a better person, but to also make dua for the people around you that are going through this whole idea of like, you know, like just being like astray. Like, do you know what I mean? None of us are like
perfect, like I mentioned before,
Yeah.
but if you sincerely love them and you feel like they're not like benefiting you positively, pray for them to be on the path that you wish to be in as well.
And also, just to add the final thing, I realized that when it comes to friendship, a lot of us, even if you don't have a good relationship with someone, we're so caught up with fixing the person, right? And I think that with time, sometimes not everybody can be fixed. You need to just move on, right? And if that relationship is not healthy for you, find a way to find other people that can actually bring the best side of you. So just don't get too locked up in that kind of messy relationship with that friend, because at the end of the day, that person is there to drag you down. So just move forward, be positive, and just focus on yourself, you know?
And make dua for them.
And make dua for them too.
Yeah, those are all really good points, guys. So just remember, be open, positive, allow positivity come
Keep
into
God
your
first,
life.
you know?
Yep,
Yeah.
keep God first. And all that. So hopefully this has actually helped someone out there.
Yeah.
And once again, it's been a really great talk, guys. And thanks again for listening to Hadal Banaat.
Take care, guys.
Bye.